This marriage ends the day you give me an heir. With Cole.
She didn't scream when he closed the door. She screamed when he said why he married her. This marriage ends the day you give me an heir. And in that moment, Lota realized death would have been kinder than becoming his wife. Welcome back to Afro-Korean Storytelling, my love. Like and comment where you're watching from. You'll make my day. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss other beautiful stories like this on the channel. Lota was 18 when her father sold her future for survival. The agreement was simple. Her life in exchange for her family's protection. The man who bought her was a legend. They called him the King of Seoul's underworld. 70 years old, untouchable. And now, her husband. She arrived at his estate on a Tuesday. No ceremony. Just a black car with tinted windows. The compound stretched before her like a fortress. Tall walls. Silent guards. Cameras everywhere. This wasn't a home. It was a prison designed to look like one. Her room was large. Too large. White walls. White sheets. White curtains. Everything sterile. Everything empty. Like a hospital room waiting for someone to die. That night, she met him for the first time. He didn't knock, just appeared in the doorway. Tall, despite his age. Sharp suit. Sharper eyes. He looked at her the way someone looks at a contract. Not a person. A transaction. Your father made promises, he said. I expect you to keep them. I didn't make any promises, she whispered. You did the moment you walked through those gates. He turned toward the door, then paused. This marriage has one purpose, one rule, one ending. Her pulse hammered. You will give me an heir, and when you do, you'll be free. The door closed, and Lota realized something that made her blood run cold. Freedom wasn't waiting for her on the other side of this. Survival was. The next morning, she woke to silence. She was dressed in clothes left for her, simple, modest, black. A guard led her to the dining room. Only one chair was occupied. Him. He didn't look up when she entered. The silence stretched. You'll need your strength, he said. For what? For what's coming. Her stomach twisted. And what's coming? He finally looked up. Everything. She thought the marriage was her prison, but she hadn't yet discovered what he was hiding. His name was Kang Jin-woo, but they called him the Architect, because he didn't just run Seoul's underworld, he built it. For 50 years he'd controlled everything. Politicians, police, judges, and the ones who didn't answer to him, they disappeared. Lota learned from whispers. He had 3 sons, all hungry for power, all waiting for him to die. His empire stretched from Gangnam to Incheon. But she also learned something else. He was dying. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. That's why he'd married her. For legacy. For an heir that couldn't be challenged. That night, she was summoned to his study. Massive. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. Maps covering the walls. An empire laid bare. Your father told me you were educated, he said. Well-read, obedient. My father lied about the last part. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Good. He sat down, gestured for her to sit. I don't need obedience. I need intelligence. I need someone who understands what's at stake. Why me? Because you're an outsider. You have no ties to the families here. That makes you neutral. And neutrality is the most valuable currency. She wasn't a wife. She was a strategy. What happened to the others? She asked quietly. What others? The women before me. The silence was suffocating. He took a slow sip of his drink. They failed. Her heart slammed. Failed how? He walked to the door, opened it. Get some rest. Tomorrow you'll meet the family. Just as she passed him, he spoke again. Don't fail. The door closed. She understood now. This wasn't just a marriage. It was a test. And the penalty for failure wasn't divorce. It was death. Morning came too fast. She was led to a sitting room, 3 men waiting inside, Kang Jin-woo's sons, their eyes on her. Not curiosity, contempt. The oldest stood. "So this is the girl." "This is my wife," Kang Jin-woo corrected, his tone sharp, final. The youngest smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Welcome to the family." The words felt like a threat. The meeting ended quickly. The sons left without another word, but their eyes lingered. "They'll test you," Kang Jin-woo said, "in ways I won't be able to stop." "Then why did you bring me here?" "Because if you survive them, you'll survive anything." The rule sounded simple, until she learned what happened to the last woman who failed. The rules came the next morning, written on expensive paper. A list tightening the noose around her neck. No leaving without permission, no phone, no speaking to staff, no entering the East Wing, ever. Report to him every evening at 8 p.m. Don't ask about business. Don't contact your family. This wasn't a marriage, it was captivity, dressed in silk. The days blurred. Wake up. Dress. Eat alone. Wait. The staff moved around her like she was invisible. She tried once, asked a maid a simple question. The girl's eyes went wide with fear. She hurried out. Loda never saw her again. Every evening at 8 p.m. she went to his study. He would ask questions. She learned to answer carefully. The surveillance was constant. Cameras everywhere. Guards at every turn. She started noticing patterns. Guard shifts. Quiet hallways. Wednesday nights when he disappeared. She filed it all away. One afternoon she found a book in her room. She hadn't asked for it. Inside, a line written in English. "Silence is survival, but memory is resistance." Someone was watching her, testing her. That night at dinner, he said something that stopped her cold. "You remind me of her." "Who?" "My first wife." Her pulse quickened. "What happened to her?" His jaw tightened. "She believed she could change me. And she was wrong." He left without another word. Those words weren't just a memory, they were a warning. Later she was summoned to a family dinner. The full table. Sons, wives, advisors. She wore black, like a widow before the funeral. The oldest son's wife leaned forward, her smile sharp. "How does it feel to be the youngest bride in the family?" Loda met her gaze. "It feels like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." The table went silent. Kang Jin-woo's hand rested on the table, a subtle gesture, but everyone saw it. A claim, a warning. She'd just made enemies. That night she overheard a conversation she was never meant to hear. She couldn't sleep. At midnight, she left her room, just to walk. That's when she heard voices, low, urgent. "He's losing his grip," the youngest son said. "She's a threat. If she gives him an heir, we lose everything. Then we make sure she doesn't. We don't touch her directly. We make her want to leave. We break her, slowly." The middle son's voice. "Accidents happen in this house." Laughter, cold, cruel. Loda ran back to her room, heart hammering. They were going to kill her. The next morning, Kang Jin-woo confronted her. "You were out of your room last night. I couldn't sleep. Did you hear anything interesting?" This was a test. "No," she lied. "My sons don't trust you. I noticed. They think you're weak. And what do you think? I think you're smarter than you let on. And that's dangerous." The psychological attacks started small. Breakfast came late. Then not at all. Clothes went missing. Hot water stopped working. One morning, her door was locked from the outside for an hour. Another night, her window was open. 3 stories up, a warning, or a setup for an accident. She started sleeping with a chair against the door, trusting nothing, no one. She felt herself fading, losing pieces of who she was, but she refused to break. One afternoon she found the library. Inside, a photo on the desk. Old, faded. A woman in a wedding dress. Young, beautiful, African. On the back, Amara, 1998. The first wife. "You shouldn't be in here." Kang Jin-woo stood in the doorway. He took the photo from her hands, stared at it. She was brave too, foolishly so. What happened to her? She loved me, and love makes you weak. Is that why she died? His eyes snapped to hers. She died because she forgot the rules. Don't make the same mistake. She made a promise. She wouldn't be Amara. She wouldn't love him. She wouldn't break. She would survive. She started paying attention to everything. The eldest son had gambling debts. The middle son was having an affair. The youngest had bodies buried that even Kang Jin-woo didn't know about. She learned. She remembered. She became a shadow. The attack wasn't meant for her, but he chose to save her anyway. It happened on a Thursday. She was in the garden when she heard gunfire, sharp, rapid, shattering the silence. She dropped to the ground, crawled behind a stone bench. The attack lasted 90 seconds, but felt like hours. Then a hand grabbed her arm. She screamed, "It's me!" Kang Jin-woo, blood on his collar, not his. He pulled her to her feet. "Stay close." They made it inside, down a hidden hallway, into a safe room. "What was that?" she gasped. "An attempt." "On who?" "On me." Hours passed in silence. Neither spoke. When it was clear, they returned to chaos. Bullet holes, blood, bodies being loaded into vans. His sons were waiting. They got through the south gate. Someone disabled the cameras. Kang Jin-woo's eyes went dark. Inside job. His gaze swept the room. The accusation unspoken but clear. "It wasn't us," the middle son said quickly. "Then prove it." As Lota climbed the stairs, she heard the youngest son. "This happened because of her. She's a weakness." "Enough." Kang Jin-woo's voice was ice. "She's my wife. That makes her untouchable." 2 days later, another attack came. On the road, an explosion. The car flipped. The driver died. The guard stopped moving. She crawled out onto broken asphalt. 2 men walked toward her, guns drawn. This was it. But then shots rang out. The men dropped. Kang Jin-woo appeared through the smoke. Gun in hand, he scooped her up, carried her to another car, shielded her with his body. She woke in a hospital, guards outside, and him sitting beside her bed. "You're alive," he said, "because of you." "They weren't after me this time. They were after you." "Why?" "Because you matter to me. And that makes you valuable." He placed a hand on her shoulder. Gentle. The first gentle touch he'd ever given her. "But you do. And now we deal with it." That was the moment she realized. She was no longer disposable. She stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Kang Jin-woo came every morning, said little, but was always there. On the 3rd day, he brought white roses. "I don't understand you," she said. "Good. That keeps you safe." "We're not going back to the compound." "Where then?" "Somewhere they won't find you." "They found me on the road." "Because someone told them where you'd be. I know it was one of my sons." "Then what are you going to do?" "What I should have done years ago." That night, they left through a service exit. Just one car. They drove to a small apartment. Anonymous. Hidden. "You'll stay here until I handle things," he said. "Handle things how?" "I'm cutting them out. My sons. They crossed a line when they came after you." "You can't disown your own children." "Watch me." "So what? You give it to me?" He turned. "Maybe." She laughed bitterly. "I don't want your empire. You don't have a choice. You're my wife. If I die, everything falls to you. Then they'll kill me." "Not if I make sure they can't." They sat in silence. "Why me?" she asked again. "Really?" He was quiet, then spoke. "Because you reminded me of someone I used to be, before all this, when I still believed I could be something other than a monster." Before they could leave, the door exploded inward. 3 men, armed, masked. Kang Jin-woo fired twice. 2 dropped. The 3rd tackled him. The gun skittered away. Lota lunged for it, raised it, hands shaking. "Get off him!" The man laughed. "You won't shoot. Try me." Kang Jin-woo grabbed a knife, drove it into the man's leg. The man screamed. Kang Jin-woo finished it. One shot. He looked at her. You held the gun. I didn't shoot. But you would have. She didn't deny it. They drove into the mountains, to his father's old compound, hidden, safe, for now. Inside, he collapsed into a chair. I'm sorry I brought you into this. You were always wrong. He smiled sadly. I know. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a document, handed it to her. She read, her hands shaking. You're not dying from illness. You're being poisoned. Yes. By who? By my own blood. My sons. Understanding crashed over her. You married me to expose them. I married you to survive them. You were protection and leverage and, yes, bait. You bastard. I know. She wanted to scream, but she couldn't. What happens now? He stood, walked to her. Now, we finish this. Together. She held out her hand. Then let's end this. He took it. And for the first time, Loda felt like she had power. What he revealed next made her stomach drop. The next morning, Kang Jin-woo spread files across the table. Evidence he'd been collecting for months. The eldest has been embezzling, 40 million. He moved to another file. The middle son has been selling information to rival families. He tapped the last file. And the youngest has been running drugs and human trafficking. What are you going to do? I don't know, he admitted. They're your sons. They're traitors. They're still your blood. Blood doesn't mean loyalty, but it means something. She moved closer. You can't keep me just because everyone else betrayed you. I'm not keeping you. You chose to stay. Because you gave me no choice. My father, my family, you hold them over me like weapons. His jaw tightened. I did what I had to. So did they. Your sons did what they had to survive in a world you built. You taught them that. So what do you suggest? I forgive them? I suggest you figure out what kind of man you want to be. Days followed in tense silence. One night, she found him on the porch, a cigarette burning. I didn't know you smoked. I quit 30 years ago. She sat beside him. Have you decided? I keep thinking about my father. What he would have done. He would have killed them without hesitation. But you're not your father. No, I'm worse, because he never pretended to be anything but a monster. What do you want, Loda? He asked suddenly. If you could have anything. I want to go home, Lagos. And if I let you go? Her heart skipped. Would you? If I could guarantee your safety. Would you leave? She hesitated. I don't know anymore. Why not? Because leaving means they win. What do you want? I want them to pay. Something flickered in his eyes. Respect. You've changed. You changed me. The next morning, he called a meeting at a restaurant in Gangnam. His sons arrived separately. Suspicious. Kang Jin-woo pulled out the files, set them on the table. I know what you've done. All of you. The youngest went pale. So what now? The eldest asked. You kill us? I should, but I won't. Relief flickered. But I'm not protecting you anymore either. Effective immediately, you're cut off. No more protection, no more resources, no more empire. You can't do that. I just did. You chose power over loyalty. So now you get neither. The eldest son stood. And what about her? She gets everything? Kang Jin-woo stopped, turned. She earned it. By spreading her... The gun was out, pressed against the eldest son's forehead. Finish that sentence, I dare you. Silence. He lowered the gun. You disrespect her again, and blood won't save you. They walked out. In the car, she spoke. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. Why? Because you were right. I needed to decide what kind of man I wanted to be. And what did you decide? The kind who protects what matters. 2 days later, the news broke. Kang Jin-woo was stepping down, dismantling the empire, burning it to the ground. To protect her, he destroyed everything he built. The dismantling took 2 weeks. Selling properties, closing accounts, severing every tie. 50 years of power, gone. You don't have to destroy everything, she said. Yes, I do. As long as the Empire exists, you're a target. But this is your life's work. My life's work was a mistake. They stayed at the mountain compound, his health declining. What happens after? She asked. I don't know. I've never lived without it. Maybe that's the point. Maybe you finally get to find out. And what about you? I want to go home. And me? I don't know. But I'm choosing to stay, and that's different. The next morning, gunfire woke her. Again, they'd been found. They found us, he said. Everyone. His sons. His rivals. Every enemy. How many? Too many. He grabbed her arm. There's a car in the back. You need to go. What about you? I'll hold them off. That's suicide. That's the point. No, I'm not leaving you. If you stay, we both die. I didn't ask to care about you. His face softened. He cupped her cheek. I know, and I'm sorry. He kissed her forehead. Now go. She ran, got in the car, started the engine, but she couldn't drive, couldn't leave. She turned off the engine, grabbed the gun, and ran back inside. The compound was chaos. She found him surrounded, 5 men closing in, wounded, bleeding, but still fighting. She raised her gun, fired. 2 men dropped. I told you to leave. I make my own choices. They fought together, won together, stood there breathing hard, covered in blood. You came back, he said. I'm an idiot. He laughed, painful, but real. They heard sirens. What do? We disappear. They drove into the mountains. He was losing blood. We need a hospital. No hospitals. You'll die. There's a clinic, 2 hours north. She took the wheel, drove fast, kept him awake. They made it. An old doctor took one look and got to work. Hours later, he'll live. But he needs rest, weeks. Lotta nearly collapsed with relief. When he woke, she was still there, hand holding his. You stayed. Where else would I go? Thank you for not letting me die alone. You're not dying, not on my watch. What happens now? I don't know. We can't go back to Seoul. Then we don't go back. Where do we go? Anywhere, as long as we're free. Are you free, Lotta? Or am I still your prison? I don't know yet, but I'm choosing to stay. And that's different. They stayed 2 weeks. Healing, planning, new identities, new passports, a way out. On their last night in Korea, they stood on a cliff looking at Seoul. Do you regret it? She asked. Destroying everything? No, I regret not doing it sooner. He turned to her. You saved me, Lotta. What are we? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. They walked away from the city, toward something uncertain, but theirs. And just when she thought it was over, fate delivered one final shock. They arrived in Lagos 3 months later. Different names, different lives. Jin Woo had aged. The poison damage couldn't be undone. The doctors said he had time, but not forever. Her father was waiting at a cafe. When he saw her, he stood. Lotta, Papa. They embraced. His eyes went to Jin Woo. Thank you for keeping her alive. She kept me alive too. They sat, talked. Her father explained everything. The debt was cleared, but he'd lost everything anyway. I'm sorry for what I did. She took his hand. I'm working on it. They stayed in Lagos for 2 weeks. One evening, they walked along Bar Beach. It's different here, he said. Different how? Louder, more alive. That's because no one knows who you are. I like that. They sat on the sand. I need to tell you something, he said. I'm not getting better. The doctors gave me a year, maybe less. She'd known, but hearing it hurt. So what do? We live. However much time I have, we live it on our terms. And after, you're free, really free. What if I want you to fight? I am trying, but some battles can't be won. Then we'll make the time count. 6 months later, they were in a small house outside Lagos. Jinwoo's health declining, but he was at peace. Somewhere in the chaos, she'd fallen for him. One night she found him on the porch. Are you afraid? Of dying? No. Of leaving you? Terrified. She took his hand. I'll be fine. I know. That's what terrifies me. I love you, Lotta. I don't know when it happened, but I do. She felt tears slide down. I love you too, and I hate that I do. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's the only good thing that came from all this. 2 months later, Jin Woo was in a hospital in Accra. Lotta was there every day. On his last day, he was lucid. You're here. Where else would I be? He squeezed her hand. You gave me hope. Thank you. You gave me strength. We're even. I'm glad I met you. She kissed his forehead. Rest now. Will you be here? I'm not going anywhere. He closed his eyes. An hour later, he was gone. The funeral was small. Just her, her father, a few others. No one from his past. Just the man he'd become. After, her father asked what she'd do now. I want to build something. Something that helps people trapped like I was. He'd be proud. 3 years later, Lotta stood in front of a building in Lagos, a shelter for young women escaping trafficking and forced marriages, funded by the empire she'd inherited, used differently, not for power, for purpose. That evening, she returned to the small house, sat on the porch, looked at the stars, thought about him. She touched the ring on her finger, the promise ring he'd given her a week before he died. Her phone buzzed, a message from her father. Someone is here asking about you. Says he's from Seoul. Says his name is Kang Min-ho. Says he's Jinwoo's brother. Her heart stopped. Jinwoo never mentioned a brother. She grabbed her keys, her phone, the gun she still kept, and drove into the city. A black car was parked outside her father's house. Inside, a man sat across from her father, older than Jinwoo. But the resemblance was unmistakable. He stood, smiled. Lotta, finally, I've been looking for you. I don't know you, but I know you. Jinwoo told me everything before he died. That's impossible. Were you with him every moment? He pulled out an envelope. She took it, opened it, Jinwoo's handwriting. Lotta, if you're reading this, it means Min-ho found you. He's the only family I trusted. The marriage was never just about an heir. It was about succession. You're not just my widow, you're my chosen successor. The empire isn't gone. I hid it, reformed it, and now it's yours. The question is, what will you do with it? Her hands trembled. This can't be real. It is. And you have a choice. What choice? Whether to walk away, or become the queen he always knew you could be. The room spun. But was she truly free, or had she just traded one cage for another?